All right. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you all had a great weekend. Gonna let the stream catch up with my mouth because I know once it gets started, sometimes it takes a little minute for it to kick in. But I think it's probably ready to go now. How are you guys doing out there? This is Carlton Lewis, aka Mellow Melanin, aka Mega Businessman, coming to you live and direct from my home just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. And in this live stream, we're going to talk about developing a powerful sales personality, like 8 traits to developing a powerful sales personality. And then we're going to go into more of the techniques on how to develop a powerful sales personality tomorrow. As you guys know, if you've been following my streams for the past week or so, that I've been working on building up my sales muscles. I'm now back in real estate. In 1996, I got a real estate license and I kept that license for 8 years. And while I did have that license, I learned how to do real estate investing. And I was okay at it, but um, I wasn't a good student. I didn't have the systems in place, the process, and I really didn't have the mindset. So mostly what I'm working on now is the mindset to become better. I'm not looking to become an agent, and shouts out to all my agents out there. Not looking to become an agent, actually wanting to be a better investor. And there's a portion of doing creative financing when I'm out, looking at prospects and calling prospects, that this is the most critical thing that you can do is to be good at what's called closing calls. And it's basically a cold call. I mean, you could say it's a warm call, a warm lead, or whatever. You know, I generally have my virtual assistants call for sale by owner ads, and then they funnel me the ones who had said yes to being able to do creative financing. So it's my job to call those people back, right? And to verify that they're willing to do a creative financing sales transaction with me. Most people aren't. I would say probably, out of all the people I called so far, most people uh, are not. Most people want a cash sale, but there are some people who were, entertaining, like, okay, well, I'll consider that. So like one I have this morning, I have to find out some information about a VA, which is Veterans Affairs, not VA for virtual assistant, but one for Veteran Affairs, about a wraparound mortgage. So I'm calling an attorney, a real estate attorney, later on today to get that information. So just making calls and doing what you got to do. So today we're going to talk about these 8 traits. All right. And I got these 8 traits from Brian Tracy. If you guys are familiar with Brian Tracy, he's a master salesperson and he's a master sales trainer as well. Been doing it for years, since he was like a teenager or preteen, something crazy. Right. And I don't know how old Brian Tracy is now, but he's very seasoned. I'll put it that way. So, I don't want you guys to ever think, that I'm coming up with all of this information myself. No, I'm sourcing this information out, or curating this information, and then regurgitating it back out to you guys. And hopefully you'll get value out of it. The people that are supposed to be hearing this, they'll hear it. The people who are not, that's okay. So give me put put something in the comments if you can hear me. Um, put in I can hear you. If you can hear me in the chat, I see some people are on. I see some eyeballs here. So put in there in the chat. And if you have any questions, also put that in there too, as I go through these 8 traits. All right. So the number one trait is they have high levels of self-confidence. And I got my notepad here, my tablet. They have high levels of self-confidence and self-esteem. And I'm telling you, you got to be confident in order to get on the phone with people, or in order to knock on somebody's door. It takes a lot of confidence, because you're going to get a lot of rejection. You're definitely going to get a lot of rejection. You may feel like you don't know enough. Um, all kinds of different things. And then your self-esteem has to be so high that you don't even take it personal. You just understand that, hey, this is just somebody who's saying no to my proposal. It's not for them right now. It may be for them later on. So I talked about something my mentor says, SW, 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 and that some will, some won't, so what, someone's waiting. And you have to get through all of those no's till you can find that yes. Setting a no goal. We talked about that last week. Number two is that they accept 100% responsibility for their results. They have a self-employed mind state. So even if you're working for somebody and you're the salesperson for that company, then you pretty much have a mindset like this is my business. This is my business. And that's how we think. I think like that. I look at my results, and some days I'm like, okay, well, I don't feel like calling anybody. And I go through that call reluctance a lot. And that's what I'm dealing with, working with the call reluctance, overcoming the call reluctance, overcoming the call reluctance, because the only way to overcome it is to do it. Just do it. And I look at my results. I want to make, out of all the calls that the virtual assistants makes, and they funnel these calls down to me, I know I need to make 10 to 20 what's called closing calls, 10 to 20 closing calls a week. That's not a lot of calls, but you got to be willing to get them done. Got to be willing to move the like like my mentor Ron LeGrand says, you got to be able to move the chips around the board. Somebody's got to be moving the chips around the board, and doing a closing call is just one aspect of doing the business. It's the most important part. It has to get done. It's not the only part. And I learned that the hard way when I was telling you guys I had my real estate license before, and I started investing before. I didn't know about systems in a business. I just knew marketing. I just knew how to get out and do marketing. And something I learned from Grant Cardone uh, yesterday, because I'm in his Cardone University, and you guys may want to take advantage of that. He's doing it free for, like, you can do it 30 days for free. Insane Productivity is like 30 days for Darren Hardy. That's like 30 days for $5. So you um, you definitely need to take advantage of these things that people are giving away that have value while everyone is on this lockdown, right? And so what Darren talks about is, people will advertise because they're afraid to get on the phone, or they're afraid to cold call people. They're afraid to go to somebody's door, or afraid to pick up a phone and call. And so they'll do advertising to try to overcome that. But at some point, somebody still has to get on the phone. You got to do it. All right. Number three, they have above average ambition and desire to sell. When you think about some of the top people in your industry, you look at these people and they are very ambitious, and they want to sell. They like it, and the desire comes from the root of the father. That's like a high thing. They feel it. You know what I mean? They want to do that. And you've got to have that. You got to have that, and you'll do what it takes to get it. You're always learning. You're always learning how to be better. Like I said, I'm going through the psychology of selling, which I wish I would have gotten this book when I was first, learning, um, you know, learning real estate investing. And I found out about this book, I'm telling y'all, back in like 1999. I can only imagine, you're talking about 20 years. If I would have just had some basic things, my life would have been totally different. But once again, we learn things. We learn things like, I learned how to cut my hair when I was, 13 to 14 years old, and now, because of this whole lockdown thing, I can't even go to the barber. And so that means that I'm going to have to cut my hair myself. I bought a shaver right before the whole lockdown thing happened. And so I'm able to shave, but I got to do something to the head. So over time, you learn these skills. You have this desire, the desire, and you keep on going. You have an above average, not just regular. Oh, I think I'll do it today. No, you can't have that mindset. You got to have like that's where that burning desire comes in that Napoleon Hill talks about. You've got to have that burning desire, that ambition to sell. All right. Let's go to number 4. They have high levels of empathy and they really care about their customers. I some people get into business or they get into sales just to sell something, and they don't really care about who they're selling it to. And that's different. You have to look at and I'm going to talk about this in another one of the traits is you have to look at what you're selling, your product or service, you know, as something that's going to benefit the person that you're selling it to. And you got to care about their well-being. you know um it, 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 I think as you get older, you tend to get a little bit more empathetic with people in their situation. I know when I was younger, I was reckless. I was reckless, y'all. All I wanted to do was just flip houses and just make money, make money, make money, make money. Not really thinking about the impact of what I was doing. Not only the immediate impact, but the long term impact of what I was doing. So I learned to be more empathetic. I always pretty much been an empath. I always knew when something was right or wrong. But these top level salespeople, think about it. I look at somebody you know, like Ray Higdon. You could tell that Ray Higdon cares about his customers. He cares about people. You know, I've seen this dude like break down and cry on video. And I'm a pretty good judge of character. I could tell when somebody's putting on an act. you know, I could tell. I could tell when somebody's putting on an act, and people like that have a high level of empathy, and they really care about their customers, and that's how you should be too. If you're looking to raise your sales game. All right. A lot of people aren't. A lot of people don't realize that we're always selling. That's another thing. That's a huge misconception. People will say, "Well, I don't want to do sales. I could never be a salesman." Well, you just sold somebody. You just convinced somebody. You just sold them on why you can't do something. You just sold something. You know, you sold your idea of why you can't do something. So number 5, they are intensely goal oriented. They know how much money they want to make on a yearly basis. They have it broken down by month. They have it broken down by week. They have it broken down, and they know what they want to do with the money, once they make it. So it's not just they're just driven, just driven by the money. They have goals and how they want to live their life, and that's a top trait. And you know what's funny? They say I think this stat is whole true. I don't know where this stat came from, so I don't want to take any claim for it. You do your own research. 3% of people on the planet, all right, set goals. Only 3%. So that's kind of scary. That kind of means that like 97% of people are just like wandering aimlessly through life. That's To me, that's scary. You know what I'm saying? I set goals. I set daily goals. I set weekly goals on Sunday. Yesterday I went and set my weekly goals, and I have monthly goals. Of course I got yearly goals too. I have a yearly, outlook on how I want things to happen. So you definitely want to make sure you have some goals set for yourself. Number 6, and we got 2 more of these, right? Number 6, they have above average willpower and determination to succeed and keep on keeping on in the face of disappointments. And yeah, you got to have some fortitude in this as a sales professional. You've got as Hey Terry, good morning. Yes, you have to have some fortitude because you're going to hear no a bunch. If you were on the live stream last week, I told you there was a lady. She said we and her were talking, and I was going through my checklist of questions, and I had all of the main questions answered, that I wanted to ask. And, I guess she was just getting tired of of asking questions, and she just blacked out. She went into a rage, and she threw out the F bomb, and she started telling me, I'm older than you, and I don't want to do this and do this and do that. And I could have just stopped doing whatever, I could have just said, okay, I'm through making calls for the day because this one person said no. I could have hung up my whole day on that person, or just said, I don't want to do this real estate investing thing. I got to come up with a different way to generate income because this one person, yelled at me. You know, you gotta have you gotta have thick skin, and you gotta be determined to succeed no matter whatever obstacles there are. Right now, our world, globally, is having a real challenge, and some people are giving up. Some people don't know what to do. Other people are determined to come out on the other side of this thing better than before it started. Okay. And those are the people you should be paying attention to. I on a personal level, you know, I've narrowed it down. I have one, two, and that's a couple. So that's three, four, five people that I'm taking advice from financially. All of them are thankfully are involved in real estate. And I want to say five, I got some other people too, but my main people, yeah, these people, they've survived these economic downturns before. If you want to see who's really being successful at this time, look for the people who went through the last downturn and made it through it and came up. The one from 2008 when the housing bubble crashed. Go look at those people, study those people, and just really hone in on what they did, and you're going to have to reassess what you got going on. You really do have to reassess what you got going on. You reassess the people, reassess your expenses, reassess your income, reassess your assets, your liabilities. Some people you're going to need to cut out. Some things you're going to need to cut out because everybody's not going to be. Who do you want on your team? I guess I should say, who do you want on your team going through this thing, right? Because this is serious. Everybody's not going to handle it the same. Some people are freaking out right now, like, oh my God, what do I do? And some people are just, they're petrified. They're not doing anything. While the other people, like I talked to you about, the people that are, they take 100% responsibility for their results. Like, we can't control what's going on with this virus thing, right? But we can control our activity. I'm on a live stream right now. You know what I mean? I'm controlling my activity. I'm telling you guys what I'm doing, how I'm going to get over it. Hey, Kevin Savage, what's happening, brother? Good to see you too, man. All right. So they have above average willpower and determination to succeed and to keep on keeping on in the face of disappointments. Yo, if you're in the earshot, if you hear me, the time is now. This is one of the best times. I'm telling you guys, take care of yourself, make sure you're staying safe, but please be looking for opportunities. There are going to be a lot of people that need solutions to problems. This thing has created some new problems for people. There are whole businesses that are never going to come back from this. Seriously, some jobs that people had, they're never going to have that job again. That's just the reality. There's a pre-COVID-19 world and a post-COVID-19 world, and we're in it right now. So, you know, think about, what it is that you have to reassess. Hey, cousin, what's going on, Daisy? How you doing? All right, number 7. I'm almost finished. Hold on. I hope you guys been taking notes too. Number 7, top salespeople. They believe in themselves. They believe in their company. They believe in their product. They believe in the value of their product and services to their customer. This is so critical. All right, this is critical. Um, Shout out to Diane Hockman. She did um, a presentation. Well, she did a mastermind once, and she still does it. It's called the Deep Abyss. And one of the mastermind meetings, she talked about belief. And she basically listed these same things. Now, if Brian, who's a top salesperson, top trainer, right? Like trained probably hundreds of thousands of hundreds of thousands of salespeople, and then you have Diane, who's the top at shouts out to My Lead System Pro, who's the top affiliate at My Lead System Pro. In her mastermind, she's basically saying the same thing. You know, it's like a birds of a feather thing. Birds of a feather flock together. Water seeks its own level. So, you know, these people are saying the same thing. So back to belief. Why is belief in yourself important? That goes back to the first thing about the self-confidence and self-esteem. You got to believe, you got to be sold on yourself. And I heard Grant Cardone say that. I just actually finished up a course in Grant Cardone's university on sales fundamentals. And he talks about that. You got to be sold on yourself first. You've got to be sold on your company. You got to believe that your company is a great company. You've got to be sold on your product or your service. You've got to believe that you have an amazing product or service, and that your product or service is the best for the market right now, the best for your customer right now. And you got to be sold. You got to have that belief that the value of it, the product and service, is right for your customer and even right for your prospect. You know, I heard Grant. I'm doing another course with Grant on cold calling, and he says he approaches every call as if he's going to make the sale. That is a supreme belief. And until I heard him say that yesterday, I didn't think like that. So that's why you gotta be willing to learn from other people. You got to have continuous improvement. You got to have growth. You got to believe that you can get better. You got to believe that what you have is valuable, and that it can help somebody else. It can solve their problem. And that's what salespeople do. They solve a problem. All right. Number 8, and this is the last one. And if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat and I'll definitely get to them. I know how to put them up on the screen now. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you put them in the chat. They are always impeccably honest with themselves and other people. All right. If if you've got a product or service and you know that it's not right for somebody, you know that they don't need it, why sell it to them? Why sell it to them? They may give you a lay down sale. They may just be helping you out. But if I know that you don't need this thing right here, you know what I'm saying? This thing, this USB adapter. If I know you don't need it, I'm not going to try to sell it to you. So you got to be honest with yourself, and you got to be honest with people. I remember a story that Darren Hardy talks about. I don't know if it's in the I think it's in his book, The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster. And he talks about a story. He had built his network marketing business. He built it pretty large, and this lady came to him, and at the end of one of his meetings, right? Because you have meetings in network marketing, and so the opportunity meeting, and the lady asked him. She was a widow. She had her that's all she had was the money to buy, I think it was a water filtration system or something like that, and to get into sales. And and the lady she just seemed really, really dejected, right? And her confidence was shot. And she asked Darren, she's like, do you think I should buy this? And Darren, in a moment of supreme integrity, he basically told the lady, no, this is not right for you. So the money was important, but his integrity was more important. So you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be honest with other people about what you're doing, and your product and services, and just being straight up with people. People will respect you a whole lot more if you're straight up with them and you tell them the truth. All right. So it's 9:27 right now. Hope you guys got some value out of this live stream. Shouts out to my Facebook people. Shouts out to my YouTube people tuning in to Carlton's Realm TV and real estate. The Realm stands for Real Estate and Life Messages. All right. So if you have any questions, let me know. Actually, you can leave them in the comments if you want. And please remember, I am always looking for houses to buy, looking for real estate to buy. You can check me out at www.omnibuyshouses.com. That's www.omnibuyshouses.com. I'm going to see if I can put that in there. See if that works. Boom. All right. I don't know if that's going to show up in the chat. It's all good. It shows up on YouTube, so I guess it's not going to show up on Facebook, but that's okay. It's www.omnibuyshouses.com. All right. So once again, it's been Carlton Lewis, aka Mellow Melanin, aka Mega Businessman, coming to you live and direct just outside of my house from Smyrna. I'm still the Southeast Beast, the Conquering Chief, Your Highness, the Finest Prosperity Done #1, and this live stream is a wrap. Peace.